Meet my friend. She's vegan. Hey guys, welcome back to The Vegan View, and today we're going to be talking about being the only vegan in a social setting.
That's right.
Tough shit.
Tough shit. Especially if you're a new vegan, I will say. Because I think if you're a seasoned vegan, you've been through it. You know all the things.
You've heard everything.
Heard it all. Yeah, nothing is new. But if you're a new vegan and you're thrown into a social setting, it is like being thrown to the wolves in a way.
It's so hard because honestly, you lose friends.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you are awakened to this thing, and then you think that your friends will be on board.
Yes.
So you want to show it to them, and then instead of them being with you, they make fun of you.
Well, were those really your friends?
No, and I'm happy they're gone.
Yeah.
She cut them all out.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to keep eating dead bodies? I have to go.
I went vegan about 6 years ago. My friends were like really weirded out by it. I feel like today, if I were to go vegan, my friends would be like, oh yeah, I've heard of it, cool. But 6 years ago, like that was not very common actually, unless you were like ingrained in vegan YouTube, or you live in LA or New York, a place that has this like super urban, then maybe you've heard of like veganism or what, like mainstream veganism has become. But my friends had nothing, they had no knowledge of it. So they were like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like are you doing this for a diet? Are you doing this for ethical reasons? And at the time, I was just trying to like be myself, but also express my new knowledge and my values to my friends without losing them. I was like, well, it's a little bit of both. Like I know that it's better for my health, and so I'm going to do it for that, but also I also feel like, it's the more ethical choice. And that's really hard to communicate to non-vegans, especially when you're hanging out with friends. You're at a happy social setting.
Yeah. I feel like my situation was a little weird because my introduction to veganism was like 80-10-10, raw till 4. So I feel like how I approached my non-vegan friends was like, no, I need to eat 12 bananas right now. And they were like, what the hell? Like, obviously, like, one thing is to say, like, oh, no, I'm going to lay off the meat and just have, like, a salad. Like, all right, cool. Everyone has a salad, like, hold the Parmesan. Like, that's pretty normal, whatever. But then it's like, no, I'll have a smoothie with 13 bananas. Wait, what? Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, like that's the only way to live. So it's like, it's a little different. So that was like my introduction with my friends. And I feel like you do get like, like peer pressured into it because, well, especially like with that, like even amongst the vegan community right now, I think, like raw vegans are like a portion of the community. So like even now, like if I were to say, can I have a smoothie with 12 bananas? Like all of you guys would be like, really need that many bananas in your smoothie?
Well, I just pictured you eating 12 bananas. I'm just like, what is that?
That was a thing that I did. I would make smoothies with so many bananas in them. So yeah, that was a weird situation to be in. And now I only make smoothies with one banana. So that's been like my
Did you go back to your friends and say like, hey guys, now I only make smoothies with one banana?
No, I didn't. I think they've like written me off as like the crazy vegan lady, and that's fine. That's who I am to them. That's none of my business.
I also think that I did that to my friends and family because I came on so strong. I came out the gate. I was like, I'm vegan and everyone is gonna be vegan too. Just wait till you hear what I gotta say. I
think that's a common new vegan thing.
I know.
I think new vegans like come out with like this hope. Have you guys seen that like SpongeBob like meme where it's like new vegans and they're like, hi everyone, I'm vegan. And then after it's like this old like teddy bear. It's like I've been vegan for 11 years. I hate everyone.
I know.
I feel like unfortunately that's kind of the Selena. It's kind of the transition. Yeah. And your goal in like your vegan journey should be to not let, the situation destroy your inner self and to really, focus on the goal, which is the animal.
Yeah. I think the thing for me was that I thought, oh, I've seen all this stuff, and if I just explain it to people, they will know and they will see and they will get it because they love me. They're my family and friends. They will understand. But that's so unrealistic because I think sometimes we think that it's this one like documentary that did it for us where we think, oh, that was the one thing that made me go vegan, when in reality it really is like a lot of little seeds planted throughout our life. It's that one friend in first grade that was vegetarian and you're like, oh, well, why is she vegetarian? You go home and you ask your parents, why is my friend vegetarian? Why are we not vegetarian?
Mm-hmm.
And things like that lead up to it, to your one awakening. Yes. Everybody has those moments in their lives, and you might be that person for your friends, whether you know it or not. You're one of the people that's planting a seed for them. And you may feel like, well, why am I not the one that clicks? Why am I not the one that just clicks it in for them?
And you might be for someone, you might not know it because it might take a little longer for that to show. So I've gotten so many messages like 3 years later, like from like a random person, like, hey, I decided to try vegan. Like, what are your suggestions for like X, Y, and Z? And you're like,
and you're like,
a lot of people from like my past will reach out to me because like 8 years ago I was the first and only vegan person that they knew. And so over the last couple years, like I've gotten a lot of messages like, hey Joy, I'm vegan now, or like, hey Joy, like I stopped eating meat, because even if I only encountered them years ago, I'm still that one person that left that mark. And when I first went vegan, I was the opposite. I kind of knew that people wouldn't understand, and I already felt so misunderstood because I'm like, why aren't people like eating this way? Like I felt so alone. Like
it can be lonely if you don't have anyone else around you who kind of like follows the same like ethical rules that you do, or does it for the same reason that you do.
It's so isolating.
It can be, especially if you don't live in like a big city where there aren't a lot of other vegans that you can go to meetups or meet people like on social media. So
that's like how I finally felt okay, because for a long time I wouldn't tell people I was vegan. At the time I was like shooting a lot of commercials and stuff as like the talent or actress, and you know, on set, you know, I would get whatever veggies they had, and I wouldn't tell people I was vegan. Like, people would ask me like, oh, like that's all you got? Or, oh, you're not eating today? It's like, oh, I wouldn't even say no, like I'm vegan, or no, they don't have any options for me. I'd be like, no, I'm okay right now. I was so shy about it because I didn't want to get bashed. And it wasn't until I found a vegan Facebook group. I don't know how I got on it or how I found it or who put me on there, but that's when I finally felt seen, and I went to a vegan meetup with a bunch of vegan strangers. We ate at this restaurant in LA called Sage, and I was just like with a bunch of random people.
It's like every non-vegan's like first thing.
But I felt so like, oh my God, I'm seen. I'm with like-minded people. Like I was so happy. I finally felt like I met people that like just saw the world the same way that I did. And I feel like that's really important on your vegan journey. Like a lot of people in your life, your family and friends may not understand you. So find those support groups, find people in your area, go to vegan events, find vegan meetups, you know, follow people on social media that, you know, help lift you up in your community, because it can be very lonely. It can feel very lonely.
It's super important. Or at least find people that support you on your vegan journey.
Yes.
Like one of my best friends isn't vegan. She's like vegetarian, but like we'll always eat vegan food together. We'll if we go somewhere, like she'll likely order something vegan. Like we share in that kind of like, you know, vegan like relationship together, even though she's not vegan. But it's like important to have like people that support you, because you know, peer pressure is like a real thing. And like I feel like it's worse from your family. You will get it from your family. Like just being realistic. People will question you. People will try to like make you like rethink why you're doing things. So you just, you know, have to stand firm in your beliefs and just acknowledge that people's opinion of what you're doing is really not your business. It's like, let them think what they're gonna think. And like you do you.
You do, it's your life. And like I will say that majority of my friends are like, my closest friends are vegan, and I'm so lucky. But then I also have some really close friends that aren't vegan. They may be vegetarian or pescatarian, or they may eat meat. But I'm so fortunate because when they're with me, we cook vegan, we eat vegan, you know, they'll eat vegan with me. And, you know, I respect that so much that sometimes I may offer like, hey, let's go to a place that has both. You know, and I think it's about mutual respect. I'm not going to force my friends to eat vegan, but I love that they love eating vegan with me. And I love that so much that I'm like, hey, where do you want to eat? Okay, do they have an option for both of us? You know?
And you make a really good point, because when I first went vegan, I was kind of the opposite, where like I didn't know right away to protect myself. I instantly was like, I watched Earthlings. Once again, I'll go back to it. I watched this, so I need to send this link to every single person that I know, because when I send it to them and they see this, they're going to change too.
Right.
And they are going to feel the same thing.
We all
Baby, come here.
I need to see a
We've all been
therapist.
there.
I still
Yeah.
need to see a therapist. That's for sure. There's a
I
lot
love
of
therapy.
scars.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Shout out to therapy.
Shout out. Can we just give it up one time to therapy?
I don't
Let's give it
know
up
about
to
it.
therapy.
But I
Normalize
support it.
therapy.
Normalize therapy. Therapy is amazing.
But I'm telling you, like, I shouted it at the rooftops, and I come from the suburbs in Seattle, and it's like I had my like couple of high school best friends, and like we had a group of friends that we hung out with all the time, and I was like, everyone needs to see this. Like, when we watched it for the first time, we were like, everyone who's like in our households needs to watch this movie, and they're gonna change right away. And then a couple of times, there was a couple of people, I think it was like my boyfriend's sister's friend or something like that. We watched her watch it, and we're like, oh my God, like everything's gonna change for her. And she was kind of like, oh shit, that's fucked up. And I'm just like,
That's
Is that
a lot
all?
of people's
And that's
responses.
it?
and I'm like, are you okay?
A lot of people respond that way.
Yeah. And you know what? That was very scarring. That was the first time that I was kind of like, whoa, like once you become vegan, you kind of get like bitter and angry for that reason, because all of a
Yeah.
sudden your eyes are open to this like fucked up thing, and there's no going back. You don't get the joy of like just like, oh, okay, like I go about my daily life
bliss, the
and
ignorance,
You just
the
like-
bliss.
Like I always say, I know too much. Like even if one day I wanted to like not be vegan
Retract.
anymore, which would never happen. You will never see me on YouTube saying that. No shade to anyone, but I'm just saying this is me for life. But even if I did decide like, oh, I'm gonna eat, I can't, because I know too much.
I
I've
can't.
seen too much. I know
Can't
too
justify
much.
it.
And I don't
That's
know how
so
you can go
frustrating.
back.
I don't want to gatekeep. I don't ever want to gatekeep the term vegan, because I think some people truly don't know. Like I called myself vegan before I was still buying non-cruelty free products.
Mhm.
I didn't know like what vegan truly meant, so I was calling myself vegan. So I never want to gatekeep the term vegan, but at the same time, I'm like, if you can ever go back to eating animals,
Yeah.
you were never vegan.
No.
Like,
No.
I
Yeah.
literally, I can't even fathom it, because we've talked about it in previous
No,
episodes. We talk about other cultures eating other animals. Like it's the same to me, like as eating a dog. Like I would never just go eat a pig, because that to me looks like a dog.
Yeah.
Goats look like a dog.
Yeah. Oh
Cows
my
look like a dog.
god.
Like I don't
Yeah.
Exactly.
consider them dogs. Like I don't have a personal cow,
Yeah.
but I look at them and I'm like, that looks like a dog.
Which is
I
why
would
you're
like
not
to have
judging
a
me.
personal cow.
I want a cow. They're so cute. Have you
Who's
seen
gonna
them
pick
run
up
through
the
a field?
They're
so cute.
Where would I put said cow?
We don't need the answers to those questions
Don't worry
right
about it, we'll
now.
get there.
We will
We'll get
figure
there.
it out later.
Manifest.
These are the
Also,
questions
but
that keep me
Get
up
the
at
cow
night.
first, figure out the poop later.
Also, wait, go ahead.
honestly, like the fact that's what drives me crazy. We judge other cultures for eating dogs, and it's like, why do you think you're any different when you eat your
A
cows
chicken,
or
you eat a
your pigs or
chicken,
your
yeah.
chickens? I've seen videos of pigs like running through a field of grass with their babies and like
Happy.
doing
And playing
zoomies.
fetch.
Doing zoomies
Yeah.
like dogs do. So it's like, don't judge other cultures for eating dogs when you're eating pigs and cows. Like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck
Preach.
up.
It's all
Preach.
the same, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference is one has been marketed because they want that coin.
Yes.
And I just want to say one of my favorite quotes really fast. It is, most people eat the ox thinking they'll be as strong as the ox.
Not knowing.
Not realizing that the ox eats grass.
Mm.
The cow, you gotta eat your beef because you need that protein. Oh, bulk season. The cow with all the protein is eating grass.
Yeah. And the cow is more beefed up than you will ever be.
My-
Pun intended.
My husband is vegan. He went vegan at the same time as I did. And he's like the least preachy vegan. He is like just the chillest, coolest guy. So people honestly always assume he's not even vegan because he barely ever talks about it. But we were at a wedding one time and this guy was like, I'm so sorry that you guys can't eat this because it's so good. And he was like eating like a steak or something. And my husband goes, yeah, dude, I'd rather just eat what the animal eats instead of just, like, I'd rather just eat what the animal eats instead of eating the animal. He's like,
Yes,
He's
Jesse!
like, I skipped the middleman.
Skip the the middleman. Go straight to the source. Straight to the source.
And I swear, okay, this guy that he said it to was like just like beefy. You know, he's just like prides himself off his masculinity. He's a broy dude. Yeah.
Fragile.
And when Jesse said that, he was like, I like loved seeing him stutter because I have never been able to get that reaction as a woman. I think anytime I talk about being vegan, it's like, she's crazy emotional.
Yeah. A lot of men like to dismiss what women say. You know, sometimes it's like stereotypical. They're like, oh, women are vegan, whatever. They're emotional about it. But like, I feel like that's why it's so valuable too that we have like men who are vegan, like who could show that perspective.
Yeah,
because it's like, no, like when I don't agree with you, I'd rather just eat plants. Because
you know what I think of those men? I'm like, I feel like you probably get in the shower at night and you cry like a little baby. When no one's looking, you cry. I know you do. I don't care what you say.
He needs meat. That is so unattractive and weak to me.
What are you making up for? We know you're trying to make up for something.
You have to eat an animal to lift yourself up. You have to eat an animal. A defenseless animal. Huh?
Like,
I bet you want to go kill that animal yourself because you're weak.
Oh, no,
exactly.
They wouldn't though.
And they will post it on their Hinge account. I'm not even on Hinge, but girls.
Oh my god.
The fish!
The fish!
You losers! Stop posting your fish photos.
Why do you think that is attractive? It's not you holding up a fish. It's like, one time, my Hinge little like bio thing was, I've decided that the size of the fish that men are holding up is negatively correlated to the size of their dick. And that got so many responses and so many people were like offended by that, of course, because they're like, oh no, it's fish.
They see that and they're like,
we see right through it, baby. We see right through
Can you
it.
imagine being like, oh, he's holding up a fish. Oh, he's so hot. No.
oh my god, he's so manly. Wow. Like,
So
oh my god, I
manly.
honestly just think he's
He's
so interesting.
spirit
He must have a lot of
himself.
interesting things to say.
Or the guy that he's spirit, he's just like spirit himself.
Honestly, I'm from the Midwest. I don't know if they do this on
Strong
other
man.
parts of the country, but like I've had to delete so many Facebook friends because these people are holding up their dead deers. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
And it's
I
just
have
like,
that.
and that's a sport.
I have that too from the South, and I will unfriend you. I don't.
I have had to
frickin'
unfriend so
care.
many people from back home.
Congratulations, you dressed up in camo, hid behind a tree, and shot an animal that didn't even know you were there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my god, I've never heard of anything manlier.
You know what? As an American, that's how you spot an American somewhere when they're
Honestly.
like you know, like,
You
oh,
mean
that
a
guy,
weak-
that guy.
weak man?
Ugh.
It is very annoying to me when people know that I'm vegan, and it's because I'm when I'm with like my friends,
As a vegan.
like, oh, this is my friend Joy, she's vegan, and it's just like, because people love to be like, oh, really? I tried to be vegan before for like 3 months. They like love to talk about veganism, and I'm just like, nobody asked, boo. I don't care what you eat. Like, I care, but it's your body, and I'm not about to go in this discussion. I just came here to party. Or then they offer their opinion. Oh, remember that one girl who someone introduced us, and he was like, oh, hey, look at them. Hey, meet them.
Give me a date. When?
You'll remember. Alessandra and I were hanging out one night, and we saw one of my friends, and he was like, oh, hey, he introduced us to someone, and he was like, hey, meet these two girls. They're vegan like you. And then the girl was like, oh, no, I'm not vegan. I'm vegetarian. You guys don't eat ice cream, huh?
Oh,
What? You guys don't eat ice cream? I can't do all that.
I ate Ben & Jerry's. I ate that Haagen-Dazs.
Okay.
I ate Ben and Jerry's last night at 3 o'clock in the morning with my cat. We sat at the freezer and we ate ice cream together. He had catnip treats and I ate the Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So what are you talking about?
It just gives people this stupid opportunity. They feel like they need to judge. And I didn't ask you I didn't ask you about you being vegan 2 years ago for 9 months for a challenge.
I know.
I don't care.
No,
I came to party. I came here to rage.
I don't care that you ate romaine for 3 days and felt sick because you didn't know what else to eat. I went vegan for 3 days and I felt really sick.
Why?
What were you eating? Romaine and croutons.
She's
Oh
like,
my
and
God.
they love
What's that TikTok? How bizarre.
They love to say how they had to stop. They love to say how they had to stop being vegan because they like felt weak and like
Yeah,
they
and
needed their
yeah.
they weren't getting enough of their
God,
nutrients. They
they're
love
like
it.
okay,
Stop.
400
If you are my friend and you are watching this, please stop introducing me as, hey, this is Joy. She's vegan.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start introducing you? Hey, this is my homegirl or homeboy.
She or he's a carnivore.
She eats the dead bodies.
He eats meat. Isn't that crazy? She
crazy
still
cow
eats
breast
meat.
milk.
It's 2021.
Yeah. Like, no one's ever been like, oh, this is ALESSANDRA. She's atheist. I'm like, oh.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It's like, I am. Want to fight? It's like, no one says that.
It's
What the hell?
weird.
That's like if
know.
you still ate me. If you ate meat and I'm like, oh, this is Hannah. You guys, like she's a carnivore. She eats meat. Like you're like you're my little token or something like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a little token. I'm not your token.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's oh my God. So
How I
amazing.
eat my lifestyle is not something I don't want to be introduced as that.
That is
because-
such a good point. The next time that one of my meat eating friends introduces me that way, I'm going to be like, and this is so and so. They are still breastfeeding from another mammal.
From a,
They're still drinking titty milk.
They're still breastfeeding.
I
I don't know
can't
what's
wait to
wrong,
use
but they
that.
are.
when we are in these social settings and we're introduced as that, people just feel like they just need to just say how they feel about you being vegan when you never ask, and then it's a waste of my time because now I'm sitting there listening to your little vegan stories or vegetarian
I don't
adventures, and I'm just like, and then you're telling me why, and I don't care enough. I don't know you enough to battle you or give you information because if you really want an honest conversation, I'm the type to be like, I'll literally stop people and I'll be like, okay, well, like, if you want to talk about it, if you want more info, I can provide that. Like, we can have an honest conversation. Other than that, like, I don't really have anything to say.
Right, because there's some people who are genuinely curious.
yes,
want
and
to
I
know.
love those people.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can
You
tell.
can tell.
when
You
they're
can
like-
tell.
You can sniff it out first 2 seconds.
You can tell when they're like, oh wait, so like, what do you like? You know, like I genuinely want to know like what you.
Yeah.
It's annoying,
But you
what
can
do for
tell,
protein
and
or
you
what do
know.
Like
Exactly.
otherwise, they're just like really like. But,
Or
like,
they'll say
what-
something
like,
sarcastic, or they'll make that
What do
point
you
about how they
eat? So what do you eat? Like, what do you eat? Just like
Anything I want.
salad,
That
grass,
is the weirdest
rabbit
question.
food,
Literally everything you eat, but vegan.
but
Yeah.
vegan.
Why is this such a hard thing
And
to understand in 2021?
And I don't want to answer your 24 questions about
Yeah.
wait, how long have you been vegan?
I came here to party.
Yeah. Tell me where the guacamole is.
Yes.
I know.
God, it's so
It is
annoying.
So weird. It is so weird because I swear we've all had the same experience. It's always you're meeting someone the first time. They find out you're vegan because your friend exposed you.
That's what
Yes,
it is.
your friend did this to you. Your friend did you dirty.
I'm not ashamed to be vegan. You can literally go to my Instagrams in my freaking bio. Like, you can find out in
it's
2
also
seconds. But like,
our
please,
identity.
that's not
Yes,
all I am.
yeah.
I am more than just
so
being
much more than
being-
that.
Why does it have to be your identity? You eating dead things isn't your identity. You
So
have
why
so
is
much
it
more
not
than you.
you?
Why
That
does it
is
have to be
mine.
mine?
Right.
Exactly.
Right,
But it's so
exactly.
funny because it's always that one person that's like, I was vegan, and I swear, I'm sure we all have the same reaction. My eyes, if they don't physically roll back in my head,
Into
they
your skull.
mentally roll back into my
Yes,
skull.
every single time. Every time.
And I'm like, I already know what's coming because I've heard it 500,000 times. You think you're the first person that's told me this story about you being vegan for 5 months, which is probably
you
in
guys-
reality 5
No, they
days.
never make it to 5
It
months.
was 5 days. They always want to say it's like 5.
It was
They
like-
It was probably like
yeah.
2 or 3.
It was like 2 weeks, but they kind of cheated and they ate romaine. That's all they did.
They broke their water
cheated.
fast
They
and they
definitely
ate some
And they, like,
romaine.
ate like an Impossible Burger once somewhere, and they're
And
like,
then,
no, I did it.
and they're like, all feel sick.
Yeah.
It's too much processed
I know.
food.
I don't know how you eat
it's a lot
that
of
fake
carbs,
stuff.
right?
Have you looked at the ingredients in an Impossible Burger? Blah,
Huh?
blah, blah. It's like, but you'll eat hot Cheetos. Yeah, but
Or they'll be like, I can't eat vegan food. You've never had vegetables or
you've never had
fruit,
fries, you've never
I
had
know.
rice, you've never had
You don't
potatoes.
beans. You haven't had potatoes. Yeah.
All jokes aside, I will say, since I've been vegan for so long, I've been through all the phases. I've been through the phases where I hide it because I just don't want to deal with people's shit.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation where I have to eat, I'll just starve. Because I don't want to hear you. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear
You
it.
don't
I don't
wanna
want the
hear it.
questions. I don't want to justify why I'm not like contributing to like the mass murder of animals, you know? But I have friends, I will say that I have noticed, if you just back off and you let them come to you, if it ever comes up, I have had one of my best friends currently went vegan. She wasn't vegan when we met like 3 years ago, and she would like eat chicken and whatnot. And it's like, it's there, and she would like come to me and ask me questions, but I never ever like went to her. Like, you know, when I first went vegan, I was like very like pushy with it. And I'm just like, you just need to see this. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you need to see this and you'll change your mind. And then after a while you get jaded and like you realize that
you give up.
Yeah. Jade is real.
most people
The
are.
jade is so real.
Yeah. But she went vegan on her own, and I realized that a lot of friends of mine are curious about it, and they'll come to me and they'll ask me about it. And I think that approach of just like, I am no different than you are. Don't put me in this category like they're this other type of human that lives so differently. It's like, I'm not. And I've had even the friends who have tried it for a couple of months, at least that was a couple of months where they didn't contribute to murdering animals.
Yeah,
and it's because
to celebrate.
they asked me questions. I answered them. I didn't push anything on them. And honestly, like a lot of people, for example, that I work with or whatever, they're like, oh, you're vegan? I never would have thought that. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? They're like, you don't look like a vegan. I'm like, what does a vegan look like? What does that even mean? So I just think that, I don't know, that's what I've learned over my time, is to just
lead by example.
Just be approachable about it. Let people ask you questions. Don't preach it. I know that it's so tempting because you know in your mind.
We know too much.
We know too much, and we want to scream it at people.
Like, have patience with people who really do like want to learn more about it and like learn to distinguish when they're just being annoying and just want to be like pest you, versus when they like
genuinely are curious.
Genuinely are curious. Yeah.
Sometimes it does happen.
Yeah.
If you have vegan friends, just please be a better friend to them, because if you don't, moving forward, when you introduce us as your vegan friend, we're going to say, hey, this is my friend who supports animal cruelty.
Oh, this is my friend. She eats cadaver.
I think that sometimes people don't recognize that it's not a diet. I think people think it's a diet. Sometimes it's not a diet. It's actually an ethical decision. It's heavily ingrained in who we are, and just introducing us as that is personal. It is personal.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It is personal.
It's personal. It's very personal.
And then people also try to put you like into this box of what they think you should look like physically if you're vegan. You don't. There is no what you should look like as a vegan. There just isn't. There isn't. You could eat whatever you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you are not contributing to the hurt of animals, you are vegan. It doesn't matter if you eat Oreos all day, 3 times a day, 24/7. That's cool. That's like your thing. Or if you eat broccoli all day.
Yeah.
That's also
whichever
your
kind of
thing.
vegan you want to be is
Whatever
fine.
you
The
want
best
to do
kind
is
of
fine.
vegan.
Stop hurting animals.
Yeah.
Like I've heard like both things. Like, oh, like you look good. Like you're not super skinny. Like I felt like most vegans were skinny. Like, aren't you supposed to be like really skinny if you're vegan? It's like,
No, those are the vegans that live off of water for a diet fad and justify it by saying they're vegan.
What was like the sun? Like the sun feed. Remember that documentary?
Oh,
People
no.
would look at the sun and they would eat. What was that thing called?
No.
You guys remember that?
No,
I heard about
It's
this.
a sun gazing thing. They would eat
I just think that, for a lot of those people who will approach you and they will be like, I tried to be vegan. Well, no, you tried to starve yourself for a few months so that you could lose weight really fast. There's a difference, you know? And it is very easy to hide and say that you're vegan and just avoid eating, because you could be at a party, you could be at work, and you could just say, oh, I can't have that, I'm vegan. And no one would question anything, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very, very easy to just not eat that way.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
For me, when I first went vegan like 8 years ago, there weren't that many options at all. Like all the things that you've seen us taste test like over the last few weeks, like there weren't many options at all. And so I did feel very, very alone. And so, I was very quiet about my veganism. And now it's so funny to see all the people that didn't understand me or would make fun of me. Now these are the same people buying all the products, eating all, sending me pictures of the products, you know, posting about the products. And I'm like, I've been doing this and y'all tried to make me feel bad in 2000, whatever it was.
We've been doing this
You know
since
what
they
I
had
mean?
Boca burgers. Those,
Nasty
cardboard-y.
Boca, Morningstar, like,
which, respect to Boca, you got me through.
Thank you, Boca.
You got me through.
Boca's the OGs.
Yes.
Like, y'all wasn't with me.
That
You know-
was the only cheese.
Yes.
Day of cheese.
You
I think
carrot,
it's
you
so
carrot
funny.
hot dogged when there was no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, yes,
Yeah.
this tastes like a hot
So it's
dog.
now that vegan's becoming more mainstream,
Now it's like
Cool.
it's cool, but I always say I was vegan before it was cool, baby.
Mhm.
Like throw some respect on my name. This was my intuition.
We all were. We all were.
It's just
I
so
love
funny to me. All these people eating like vegan products are the same people that tried to bring me down, and they're the same ones. Like, oh, look at this. Oh, vegan. Oh, I think I'm gonna go vegan. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
That really
There's also
goes back
part
to.
of it that's trendy. Like there's also part
Yeah.
of it that's trendy, and people are like, oh, like I'm trying this, and like
Which
that's
like
cool.
annoying.
It's
but
annoying.
good.
It's annoying but good because
Yeah.
literally every meal does count. Every time like you go out to
Yeah.
a restaurant, if you're not vegan and you're ordering a vegan thing, or
Yeah.
you're not vegan and you're going to a vegan restaurant,
Yeah.
like, that matters.
Yeah, it does
really
matter.
does.
It really
Strength in
does.
numbers, and it really
Yeah.
does matter.
I mean, imagine you go to
So-
a restaurant and they don't have a vegan option, and you sit down and you're like, I'm vegan. What do you got for me? And they're like, salad. Oh, okay, cool. I'll just sit here and starve. And I have done that sometimes just to
Yeah.
make a point when I go out with friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have fries, we have the salad, but the dressing's not vegan. And I
Yeah.
will be passive aggressive and I'll be like, that's okay, I'll just starve.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like,
And that's
make a point. Like, put
Yeah.
a vegan item on the menu. This is ridiculous.
honestly, that blows my mind. How can you have a whole restaurant menu and you mean to tell me everything has an animal or an
product
animal
in it,
byproduct?
yes.
That is
Yeah.
disgusting
Yes.
and despicable. And I am just pissed at all of you.
Well, also like read the room.
She's had it.
She's up to here. She's up to here.
It's time.
2021.
Yes.
If you don't,
Yes.
if you don't have a lot of vegan like customers that come in, have a vegan option.
Yeah.
Because not everyone that comes in and asks for a vegan option is going to be vegan. And like, truth of the matter is, like, most of the vegan restaurants in LA, like, I would like go out on a limb and say that like 80% of the people that go aren't vegan.
Yeah.
It's all just because they enjoy the food, and this is
Yes.
this is true at least of like
True.
LA, and I'm sure of like the vegan
Mhm.
restaurants. Like, let's be real, like these places could not survive just on the vegan population.
Yeah.
Like, it really is
Yeah.
the trendy, and it is the thing that people are realizing. Oh wait, this is cool, but it's also like healthy. Like, it's healthy like to
And it
eat like
tastes
more
good.
plants, and it tastes
Yeah.
good. And I could do this. Like, I could eat like a meal like this, and it would be fine. So like, it's important
Yeah.
to have like, just as a business and as an establishment, it's important to have options for people because you want to be able to cater to everyone.
And not fries and a side salad. I'm tired
Yeah,
of
go
eating
stick
fries
with
and
it.
side
Like, I
salads.
love fries, but
I love them, but not as a meal, you know? And it's like
Oh,
the amount of times that I've gone to my favorite vegan restaurants, like to the Yelp, just if I need to see when they're closing or whatever, and I'll see a ton of reviews that are 5 stars, and they'll be like, I'm not even vegan, but this restaurant is whatever. And it's
That's
like,
awesome.
okay, well, first of
Yeah.
all, why aren't you vegan? Because you just ate that food.
And it was
So-
good.
Yeah.
What's the problem here?
Let's connect the dots.
Yes, exactly.
but honestly, to have a full menu and it's all filled with animals and animal
Right.
byproducts,
Yeah.
you're exploiting animals, and it's just not okay.
Not anymore. Not with all the
We're
info
fed
out
up.
there.
But I will say that I really appreciate businesses that aren't vegan, that have a vegan menu, that have vegan options, because they're acknowledging that this is a way that you could move into the future, and you're realizing that, like, you know, people want these things. So at some point before, people have said, "Oh, you don't have a vegan option? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'll just get the romaine."
No.
So, like, they've thought about that. You know, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, people do what brings them money, and that's like understandable.
Yeah.
So like, I appreciate the
Yes.
people, like, and I support those businesses
Mhm.
that have like, there's this place on like Ventura in Studio City. They have the best Impossible Burger ever. And it's better than like most vegan restaurants, and they're not a vegan place, and they don't have that many vegan options. But that
Oh,
burger is so
I've never
good.
heard of it.
They have like skinny like rosemary fries.
Oh.
But it's like they do it, and they do it well, and they put in effort, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Exactly.
So many less cows are.
You're
You
reading
know?
the room,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you, most of the people that order that are
Are
not
not
vegan.
vegan.
Yeah.
You know what? The other night we went out and had drinks and pizza, vegan pizza at this place that has like a delicious like margarita pizza. But we went and we had a pizza, and on our walk home, we walked by this food truck that was Philly cheesesteaks, and we walked by, and I just like kind of glanced over at the menu, and I saw that they had a Beyond Meat vegan Philly cheesesteak,
Yeah.
and I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, should we get one? And he's like, well, we just ate, so maybe next time. And I was like, but
No,
no
okay,
one's
no.
eating their food. They're sitting in their board as can be on their phones. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this Philly cheesesteak just to make a point. And I was like, I may be your only customer of the night, but I'm gonna order the vegan item
And it matters.
Yes.
and I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
point. So I ordered it.
Wow.
And that's it. Like, hello, like we exist, and you need to have an option, because that
Yeah.
food truck was dead that night. I could have been their only
Yeah.
customer or 1 out of 5, and I ordered the vegan item.
Was
you
it
know?
good?
And
It was
makes
good. It was
makes
really
a
good.
difference.
It
really does
was.
make a difference. If you go to a place that doesn't have any vegan options and you say, what can you make that's vegan?
Mhm.
Then the chef is suddenly thinking about it and saying like, oh, well, you know what, we could make this for you.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
like, you came in and said, I want this, but it's not on your menu, make it for me, then they're
Yeah.
going to be thinking about that. Even if it's just one person, they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, you know what, maybe we should have this option for someone who wants to
Yep.
eat it.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
I'll never
One person
forget.
makes a difference.
I was in Jamaica and I went to this like restaurant that was supposed to be really good for breakfast, but they had nothing vegan on the menu. So I asked the waitress to like ask the chef if she could make me something.
Yeah.
And the chef came out and she like, I explained to her, I was like, I'm vegan, no meat, no eggs, no dairy, no cheese, no nothing. She's like, okay. When I tell you she just improvised, and this was like one of the best breakfasts I had ever had. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
That's
so
the
good.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of times we're kind of scared to say that because we're like, oh, we don't want to deal with this. But
Yeah.
but you have to, because you'll end up getting a great meal. You challenge the
Yeah.
chef,
Yeah.
and it's ingrained in their mind, like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe we should have an item on the menu to serve these people. And honestly, like, my last job was a little bit of a bougie restaurant and whatnot, and like we would have family meal, and the chef would always be like, oh, I don't have anything for you, and I would again be like, that's okay, I'll starve during my 8-hour shift while everybody else gets to eat. And he would be like, and then like 5 minutes later he would come out with like a dish that he made me from scratch, and he just improvised, and he's like, here you go, I feel bad, I don't think you should starve. And I'm like, this is delicious, like, why isn't this on the menu? Like,
everyone can eat this.
yes,
Everyone can eat
exactly.
And honestly, there have been several times where either I was on set and like I was the only
Yes.
vegan, so like they buy me the vegan food, or I'm in a restaurant with non-vegans and I ask the chef or whatever for them to improvise, and everyone wants what I have because it's
Exactly.
different and it's
It looks
usually
good.
so bomb.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, you didn't want this, you wanted your little whatever dish you ordered. This
Your
is
dry chicken.
Yeah.
Because he made yours fresh from scratch, and it looks
Exactly.
fresh and good.
I'm not even looking at your meal, so you're clearly not happy with your meal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to look
You're
at
not
that.
looking at it.
If you
because
want to
don't
come
wanna
over to the other side, baby, just say that.
Well, thank you.
On our
that.
side, we have cookies.
get vegan ones.
And cute girls.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Cute because we're cute and compassionate. Wow, guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know that we have. Let us know below what you think about this topic and how you feel, you know, being introduced as the vegan friend, or what experiences you have had. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow our personal pages down below. We'll see you next week for another episode of The Vegan View.
Bye.